What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Divided Nations. So here we are now, and what do we ask ourselves? What is the next step? What is the government going to do about it? How is this going to be handled? People that are on the left and the right, obviously, this is a big issue for all Americans, but what about for those independents? Even for somebody like me who tries to claim at times I try to represent an independent status because, see, through my 20s, growing up, I didn't claim I was a Democrat, but see, I grew up in a blue collar working family. My father owned a cleaning company. When I was a little kid, he would allow me the time to work with him, make like, $5 an hour, whatever it was. You know what I mean? You were happy to get what you got, and you went to the candy store, and but it taught you the appreciation, the value of a dollar. When I look back and I realize my family in particular, like most families, it seems like even the people that you've known your whole life, they're not going to be always the people that are the most understanding, not always going to be the most supportive people. Some people are. I'm lucky to have more of a connection and a bond with certain family members now more than I did before in the past, and I'm grateful for those connections and those relationships because not only are they meaningful, but they're essential. And we were all made to be spiritual social beings. So it's imperative that we're all here for each other during this timeline, especially at the most critical timelines, but all the time. Everything that I I look around about the world, and when I see like all these different controversies going on, it seems to be cover up on top of cover up on top of cover ups, just scandal stacked on top of scandal over and over and over again. And I think for most people, it gets really depressing. It gets very frustrating, gives people a level of anxiety to where they just say, you know what? I'm not even going to pay attention anymore. I'm just not even going to watch the news. I'm not even going to. Well, good. You shouldn't watch the mainstream. But people get so burned out, they're like, I'm not even going to. I don't even want to know. For me, when I woke up in my early 20s and I took my head out of the sand, it was the moment in life when I realized that I can't go back to sleep. I can't just forget what I know. Most of the people that you see that are blinded by the socialist agenda here by the far left, and they see the progression of actually the right and the left, both are actually taking us in the direction of New World Order. I know a lot of Trump supporters that are on my channel are going to be like, what do you mean? Trump's against the globalists. Listen, with all due respect and love, both sides are progressively taking us towards New World Order. There are powers bigger than the President of the United States. There are people in government that are a lot more powerful than just the President of the United States. You say the President is the most powerful man in the world. Really, dude? Really? Okay, you just marinate on that for a little bit. Yeah, no. Here's a reality check. The President of the United States is not the most powerful man in the world. Maybe some of you have forgotten about the world banks. Maybe some of you have forgotten about not just too big to fail banks. We can see example of that in the crash of 2007 and 8. But what do y'all know about the Bilderberg Group? Who knows about that? Y'all know what the G20 is? Y'all ever heard of this little thing called the United Nations? How many of you are educated about the treaties that the United States has with the United Nations beyond Agenda 21, 2030? Y'all read up on it? Maybe a couple of you have. But how many of you actually have knowledge of this issue to where you could recite it without Googling it? Huh? How many? So these are important issues. These are factors that a lot of everyday individuals are not maybe thinking about on a regular basis of the powers that be that really control everything. What about the power of the Federal Reserve? What about the influence of big tobacco, big oil, and big pharma? This is the United Corporate States of America. but this is also divided states of America. We're all divided. We have two system party, red and blue. They want us to choose, and they say, choose. Choose a side. Are you with us or against us? That doesn't feel like a united states. You say, well, what other choice do we have? We have to have two, do we? I'm not saying we have to have a one-party system. I'm just saying, maybe, would a three-party system work? I don't know. Would it complicate things a lot? Absolutely. I'm sure it would. Ladies and gentlemen, please understand, I'm not against the party system. I'm against corruption. I'm against the fact that the people that say that they're trying to unite us are actually dividing us on a regular basis. Especially now that we see everything happening around election time, I'm sure people can see a clear divide. Anyone who's not even paying attention can clearly see that. So the bottom line is that we have more choices than just this two-party system. We are Americans. We should be united. All of us, regardless of the party affiliation that is being nominated right now, we should all be able to say, you know what, I think I gotta, acknowledge the fact that it does seem like some shady things have happened and maybe there should be a recount. But because in a world that's so selfish, you would not see that type of intellect or that type of demeanor and respect and consideration. I don't think we'd see it on the left or maybe on the right more than the left. But then again, who the hell knows? I think that people are sore losers. A lot of the time. I played in the World Series of Poker, World Series of Poker qualifiers. I play a few times a year and in some of the big tournaments. And, I haven't gone all the way, been successful. But one thing I've known and realized consistently is the fact that most players in the game are bad losers. Now, we've all had our moments, but when it really, 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 really comes down to it, are we able to say in a fair game, say, well, you know what? Regardless of the fact that I'm happy with the disposition because my side is the winning team right now, yeah, there should be a recount. Or yes, there should be a reevaluation of this decision. But that's not what it's about. It's not about Trump, and it's not about, hey, we're the sore losers, or they're, or whoever they are the sore losers, right? In this case, the right. Listen, I'm speaking on behalf of the right and the left, but the left right now is way out of bounds. So essentially, I guess I'd be speaking more for the right, because the fact is that there are so many Republicans polling positions that weren't able to see. And at the polling, stations, and, I mentioned the states before, I'm not going to mention them again and again and again, Republicans were told, yeah, well, sorry, you can't see. And then they moved the tables, back 6 feet. They stepped up, whatever. They were blocked from being able to view it. Now, if that was Democrats that were blocked from being able to see the polls, they're all hell. Not only would all hell be breaking loose right now, we'd probably be seeing like riots and everything, and people would not be having it. But conservatives seem to be maybe a little bit more calm-tempered. Not everybody. I don't know. Everybody's different. But we do seem to see more calm temperament and more logical thinking on the right. So when it comes down to all these things, we're all family. We should care about this election, not because whether our candidate lost or won. We should care about this election because of the fact that the integrity of all future elections are at stake. If we haven't had a fair election now, what makes you think that your political party is going to win next time? If yours won this time, next time you're like, oh yeah, it doesn't matter. I don't care about next time. People just care about right now. They're like, yeah, whatever. In 4 years, I'll deal with it when it comes to 4 years. But y'all aren't thinking about that. See, as Americans, we should all realize that our rights have been violated if there was a manipulated election, regardless if your party won or lost. All of us have been violated if there has been a violation of the election, allegedly. And there is a lot of evidence and speculation and evidence, or at least this, assumptions beyond a reasonable doubt that raise more than a level of concern. So here we are. What do we do next? Where do we go? I think what we all need to do is be calm, be respectful, and just try to also do our best, even though it's really aggravating because some people are trolling and giving us a hard time. The bottom line is that it's about a fair election. And if there wasn't justice done in this election, what makes you think that any election is safe in the past? Or excuse me, from the future back to the past, looking at other elections, past elections have been manipulated. So you can see that still elections are continuing to be manipulated. I've talked about this. I said I wouldn't be surprised. Other elections have been manipulated. There is evidence beyond a reasonable doubt. Looks like the new norm is going to be every election is going to be a recount. Every election is going to be controversial. It also makes you think about the elections statewide. Governors and mayors. See a lot of people getting voted in Democratic, and it's like, really? These people? Some of these people got voted in? So it makes you now, for anyone who's thinking critically and also questioning the narratives, it makes you wonder how many of the elections in recent years, or however many years, have actually been legitimate elections. Something needs to change, and I'm not saying it's a cyber system on the internet. Obviously, the mail-in ballot thing ain't working. You know, maybe we should start the elections early. Maybe one idea is we could start the elections a couple months early and open up the polling stations and only are registered from people who actually vote in person. I know that would seem tedious, but guess what? That's probably the best way. Any of you got a better idea? If you do, please drop it in the comment section below. All right? Please be sure to like and share. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for tuning in. And if you got some better ideas on possible ways that they can handle this and create more of an effective security system to protect the elections in the future, not just the presidential election, but also statewide elections, please feel free to share your opinions. Drop them in the comment section below. All right, y'all. Thanks again. Check y'all on the next one.